Okay, so section 4.4 and 4.5 talk about triangle congruency. And we have some postulates, 3 postulates, and 2 theorems that we need to learn here, okay? So the postulates are statements that are assumed to be true. Theorems are the ones that you can prove, okay? So the first 3, what you need to do when they give you a postulate, and the postulate is side, 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 you have to have 3 sides of one triangle congruent to 3 sides of another triangle. Okay, so it's 3 sides. And here they're listing them. See, if you look at the first statement, which is XY, that has 1 tick mark, that is congruent to QS, and QR, and that has 1 tick mark. So single, single, and that is the first one. So this is a pair of sides. And then you have 2 tick marks and 2 tick marks. So XZ is congruent to SQ, and you have that here. So that's another pair, so it's S. And then the third one is 3 tick marks, YZ, 3 tick marks, SR or RS. So therefore, conclusion, the triangle XYZ, XYZ, so it starts from X, and X is congruent to Q, so you start at Q. Okay, so it's X, Y, Z, so it's Q, R, S. And that's how the order is given here. So you have to follow the order. One thing that I like to do is, okay, I said, well, I start from X, go to Y, and then stop at Z. So over here, I start at Q because Q is congruent to X, pass through R, stop at S. And that's how you can write your statement, following, that order. Okay? So that is side, side, side. The second one is side, angle, side. And on side, angle, side, we need to understand what included is. It says 2 sides and an included angle. Included means between. Is between the 2 sides. Okay, so if you have 2 sides and an included angle, by included angle, this is what they mean. They have 2 sides, and that included angle is between the 2 sides in one triangle, and they're congruent to 2 sides and the included angle of the other triangle. So notice that that is given over here. Angle T is the included angle, and that's between the 2 congruent sides. So when you label that, notice how they're giving LM that has 1 congruency mark, LM, is congruent to UT or TU, and that is this one. So that is one side, so it's side. And then they have another side which is LN, and that has 2 congruency marks. So that is this one. LN, 2 congruency marks, is congruent to TV. And that's the second one. And then over here, the angle, they're using 3 letters. Do you have to use 3 letters? Well, not necessarily. They could also have mentioned this as angle L is congruent to angle T. Another way of doing it. When do you need 3 letters? Well, you need 3 letters when there's more than one angle formed at that particular point. Okay, so this is angle L congruent to angle T, and that is an angle. And now here, just make sure that those 3 letters are combination. You look at the picture and notice that the angle, it's included. So you're gonna name it as side, angle, side, not like this. Okay, so even though you list it like that, make sure you name it as side, angle, side. And then if you look at the congruent statement, it starts from L, M, N. So it's L, M, N. Well, L is congruent to T. And it goes through the single mark. So single mark means coming this way. So it should be TU and then goes to V. TUV. So you have to make sure that you go with the corresponding part that you started with. If you started at angle L, L corresponds to T, so you got to start at T. Okay? Any questions on side, angle side? So far so good. So it's 2 so far. Now number 3. On number 3, we have angle, side angle. And here it's a little different because on the other one was an included angle, an angle in between the two sides. Well, this one is angle, side angle. And the side in this case, it says 2 angles and an included side. One triangle are congruent to 2 angles and the included side. So what included side means, this right here, that means that is between. Between the 2 angles. So in parentheses, I'm going to put here, touching. That angle is touching, well, that side is a side, is touching both angles. Okay, put that in parentheses. That way you know that when it's angle, side angle is because that side is touching both angles. It's like holding on to the 2 angles. Okay, and it has to be like that. If you look at the picture, you have the angle C congruent to angle F, the side congruent to the other side, DF, and the double congruency mark A congruent to angle A. So it's angle, side angle. And then you look at the statement. And the statement, if you look at the statement, which is over here, it's ABC. So if I follow ABC, and I don't know what that is equals to, because on the quiz, I might give you the first part, and I'm going to ask you for the second part on the test. So if I give you the first part, you need to know what should be the second part. And the order does matter, so be careful. So if I follow the order, ABC starts at A, goes through B, stops at C. So A corresponds to D, so I have to start at D. B corresponds to E, so I have to come this way. And then C corresponds to F, I have to go that way. So it should be triangle DEF, and that's what is given on the right side. Any questions about angle, side angle? So far so good? Okay, so now let's move on to the 4th one. The 4th one, notice that the first 3 are postulates. Okay, so it's postulates, postulates. Well, the 4th one and the 5th one are theorems. Like I said, postulates are taken, they're assumed to be true. Theorems, you can prove them. If you were to prove them, you can prove the theorems. So the 4th one, it's angle, angle, side. And it's angle, angle, side, and here it says 2 angles and a non-included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding angles, in this case is the 2 angles, and the non-included side. So non-included, if included means in between both angles or both sides, then non-included means that it's not between, okay? So non-included, it's not between the angles. So in parentheses, I'm going to put here that it would be touching only one of the 2 angles. It will be touching one of the 2 angles. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one. No, it doesn't matter. As long as it's consistent. It's also touching the other congruent corresponding angle. Okay, so here we have angle G congruent to angle K and angle F congruent to angle J. So it's angle, angle, and the side that is congruent, FH, is congruent to JL. And notice that that side is only touching the corresponding angle F and J. So it's only touching one of the 2 angles. And that would be angle, angle, side. Okay? And the last one. So do you notice that there's no such thing as side, side angle or vice versa? So that doesn't exist. If you see over there, angle, side, side, no donkeys. Okay, on the poster. So Don't mention the acronym of that because it's not necessary, but just keep in mind that that's not proper, okay? Don't use that. Never use that, please, okay? Okay, just keeping this clear. Okay, so the last one. When I was checking Kahoot, because I liked, the stuff that they have in Kahoot, and I was checking some activities on the theorems and the postulates. One of the teachers, whoever produced that Kahoot that I was checking, she was using, instead of saying HL, hypotenuse leg, she was saying that it was right, and she was just putting right hyphen hypotenuse leg. And I was like, well, it's a good idea to have that right, but it's not necessary, okay? So if we were to play that Kahoot tomorrow, you might have some of those that will say right hypotenuse leg. It's not necessary to put right, but it's a good idea to have it. That way you keep in mind that it has to be 3 parts that need to be congruent. As you notice on the other 4 is side, 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 angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. So it's 3 parts all the time that need to be congruent. So this last one, HL, it only has 2 pieces, but in order for you to have a hypotenuse, which in this case, this is the hypotenuse right here. This is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse, it's only found on right triangles because the hypotenuse is always across the right angle.
So it's only an HL when it's a right triangle?
When it's a right triangle, that's right. So the description, it says, if the hypotenuse and a leg, notice that it says a leg because it has 2 legs, only one of them has to be on a right triangle, so it has to be a right triangle, are congruent to the hypotenuse and a leg of another right triangle. Then the triangles are congruent by the HL. Okay, so the H is across from the right angle. The leg, it could be the long leg or it could be the short leg as long as it's corresponding. Short leg with short leg, long leg with long leg, okay? In this case, they're using the long leg. And if you look at the statement, it says JKL, starts at J, passes through K, stops at L. J corresponds to M, and then it goes to the right angle, so it comes this way, and then it goes down. So the statement should say M and P, and that's what you have on the statement. Okay. Any questions on the 5 congruent statements that you're supposed to use on section 4.45? No? Okay, now, if you have the paper, then flip the paper over, don't turn it around. And if you have the iPad, go ahead and go to the 2nd page. The window, don't look, meaning the wall. And what I want you to do is list the 5 statements on these boxes that are given to you. It says, name and show a picture of each triangle congruency. So without looking at the notes, let's see how many you remember. And go ahead and that second part is part of section 4.6. I'm not going to test you on this. When I test you, that would be something that I will not be testing you. And I'll go ahead and continue with this section 4.6 on Monday. On Monday, we're going to be talking about CPCTC, where Sergio is, that CPCTC. I'm going to skip that part, and I'm going to cover that on Monday, okay? So that way the test is not as difficult, as challenging, because, God bless you. That way, we don't do proofs until next week, okay? So, example number 2. What should that be?
Side angle, side.
Side angle, side. That is right. Side. Yep. Side angle, side. So it's side angle, side. What about example number 3?
Angle side.
Be careful. It has to be angle, angle, side, and not angle, side, angle. Why angle, angle, side, and not angle, side, angle?
Because there is no thing for.
Because the side is only touching one of the 2. It's not between both angles. Okay, so it's not included. Therefore, is angle, angle, side.
Wait, so what? Is it not?
When the side is not touching both angles, it's only touching one of them, that is a non-included. That would be angle, side.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay? But like example number 4. Look at number 4.
Because why wouldn't you put the S first, like side, angle, angle?
The theorem name is angle, side.
Oh, okay.
So we just go with that order. Yeah, you can have it SAA, but the name is angle, side. So let's just stick with that order.
If it's like clockwise or something, like. what's-
No, not
it's just
necessarily.
name.
It's just the name of the theorem. Yeah. Okay, example number 4. What do you think that is? This is angle, side, angle. And notice how this one, the side is holding on to both angles. So it's in between both angles, and that's why it's angle, side, angle.
Oh, you're gonna make us like know the definitions and like have to put like
It's just to name it, just to say angle,
yeah, but
side,
about
angle,
tests,
side.
like the definitions are gonna be there and then the word, right? No?
Like vocabulary.
Yeah.
Vocabulary is just the vocabulary that I gave you on the quiz.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, so it's not gonna be this.
On this one, it would be identifying, naming what the theorem or the postulate is.
Okay, but
Yes.
not necessarily like knowing.
Just what I gave you. No, that's what I gave you in the description. Just make sure you keep that in mind. Yes. What about for number 5?
Right?
Hypotenuse leg.
It's not
Yes.
right?
No, let's not. Right hypotenuse leg is the way that she was using it on the Kahoot. So when we play that tomorrow, keep that in mind. But the name of it is just hypotenuse leg. And yes, you need a third piece, and that third piece is a right angle. So if you don't have a right angle, you will not have a hypotenuse. So that's like the third piece that is necessary. But the name of this is just HL, hypotenuse leg. Now let me give you a few minutes to work on the practice one. It says practice. Mhm.
How come there's 2 bonds?
That's a good point. Notice how we identified, which property it belonged, it needs to be used. Well, the second line is so that you can write the congruent statement. For example, in example number 4, if I say triangle ABC, well, that is congruent to, I started A,
What's the D and then what's that one?
B, and C. What is what?
The one that's blocked out. Like the one-
E.
That's E.
That's E, yes, and that's a right angle. So what you need to do on that practice is the second line is so you can write the statement. Like for example, in example number 4, I put triangle ABC. Well, A corresponds with what point?
D.
With E.
Oh man.
B corresponds with D, so it has to come this way.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that.
And then C corresponds with F. So the statement should read triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDF. And that's what you need to put the statement and the reason. And notice that it says, are the following triangles congruent? Yes or no? And one of them is not going to be congruent. One pair, okay? So I'll give it a try, please. What is the answer for number 2? Are the 2 triangles congruent?
Yes.
Yes, by what?
A, B, C, and F, E.
Okay, so you're giving me the statement is triangle ABC. So you're saying A, B, C is congruent to what?
F, D, E.
F,
Triangle
D, E. That is right.
Okay.
Triangle F, D, E. And what's the reason for those 2 to be congruent?
A, S.
Angle, side. That is right. How come it's not angle, side, angle?
Because.
The 2 angles connect.
Oh yeah.
Because what? Christina?
The 2 angles are like
They're together, but on the angle, side, angle, they're also together.
angle, side, angle. No, but aren't they? Wouldn't it be like angle and then side and then another angle? So
Okay.
they would be like. Oh,
How do you call the side that is not in between BC? That is
the side
outside.
that is outside.
That is not in between BC, or the side that is not between the 2 angles. Not included.
S,
What's number
S,
3?
S.
Side, are they giving you the 3 sides congruent?
Oh, so just side, S, S.
No. How many pieces are given congruent?
Oh, so it's not congruent.
They're not congruent because it's not enough information. So this is not congruent Because it's not enough information.
Wait, so it was only one that wasn't right?
This, I just put,
Not possible?
yeah, I put NPA.
Not possible. What?
No possible answer.
No possible answer. Just put not congruent and that's it. Yes. What about number 4, Christina? Last one. Well, are those two congruent?
No,
They're not congruent? They don't give you 3 pieces?
no, I thought because like, see, like, that one doesn't have the thing.
Angle, angle,
Yeah.
side, side, angle, angle.
I just, but it wasn't congruent because it looked weird.
But are these two, do you think they're congruent?
Huh?
Do you think those two triangles are congruent?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. So, yes, by what? What's the reason?
A, C, B?
You mean SA?
Oh, yeah,
Angle, side angle?
yeah. And
This is the one that I was telling you that the side is holding on to the 2 angles is considered an included. So it's between both of them, so it's angle, side angle. And you were giving me the statement, triangle ABC. Did you say ABC?
A, C, B,
Oh, you said ACB? Okay, so ACB
and D, C. Right?
is congruent to, so you're starting from A, go to C, stop at B, so it has to go D, D what?
C,
E, and that's it. Any questions about determining if they're congruent or not? Good job, Christina. Awesome. Okay.